Good afternoon and welcome to the February 19th City of Coos Bay Parks Commission meeting. We will start out with a roll call. We'll be pretty swift today.
Jared Schmidt.
Ariane Lyons.
Kirk Benward.
Jamie Faraday.
Greg Hamblett.
Christina Teixeira. Christine Sylvester.
Thank you so much. Moving on down to public comment.
Cricket. Just cricket. Oh, surprise.
It's not just cricket, it's cricket.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you know, and I get every other month, but I always have something in that in-between month. So, you know, just to let you know, we're still there. We'll do the bad news first. We think one headstone has walked off.
Oh.
So I did make a police report with Officer Smith.
They're heavy. Like, why are people... Why
How would you carry it? Why would... There was a hole in the fence. The city kind of fixed it up, and I think I talked about that last time. The thing is probably that round and about that long, and it's a granite cylinder. Like, how would you even get it out there? And we've looked at all the places they could roll it away. So we hope it'll be found somewhere, but it hasn't been found yet. So we had to do that. So that's too bad. We will be, by April, we'll be finishing up another 80 headstones for the finish up our CLG grant for that. And you'll have to go look at the fence. I only have brought one copy, but I work periodically with Miss Otitus's drawing class, and they're mostly freshmen, so it's a really good way for me to introduce the cemetery to them and introduce myself to them. And this year they were spot on. So may the firehouse horse gallop into your lives and ignite every dream. So that's one of the sayings, because the Lunar New Year just started. So they did horse drawings and lantern festival drawings and everything else that could relate to it, and they're hung on the fence. So drive in the parking lot and look at what work they've done, and they've done some really nice things, and I'll pass this along as well. So it's really nice to have those kind of short things that we can do with them, and I appreciate all their effort, and the fact that I'm given kind of free rein from the teacher. She makes this a community service, so they get, by completing it satisfactorily, they get a community service credit for projects, and then they get a kind of art evaluation. But the community service is what she's really trying to foster.
Nice.
So we're doing several. So I'll pass it along so you can see those both are partial drawing on the Lantern Festival, but the other one is one of the drawings.
Thank you so much.
I should ask if there's any questions.
I think it's great to have so much engagement, particularly from the students there with the cemetery. And then hopefully they have extra eyes, so
Exactly.
less things disappear. All right, we are moving down to action item 3A, Beaver Deceiver sign placement. Say that 6 times fast.
I had quite the education about the beaver deceivers. I had never even heard of one until I sat down with one Mr. Faraday, and I was educated. You did well. So several years ago, the Millicoma Marsh Stewardship Group, as part of the Coos Bay School District's Millicoma Marsh Management Plan, installed a device commonly known as a beaver deceiver near the east end of the Millicoma Marsh Trail. The beaver deceiver is a water level control structure designed to manage pond elevations while minimizing conflicts with beavers. The system consists of a pipe placed at the bottom of the pond on one end of the berm, which conveys the water through the berm to a vertical standpipe on the opposite side. The top of the standpipe is set at the desired water surface elevation, and during periods of heavy rain, when the pond levels rise, excess water flows through the system, helping to stabilize water levels. So beavers naturally build dams using sticks and soil, often plugging leaks when they detect the sound of movement of flowing water. While this behavior is part of the marsh's ecosystem, it can lead to elevated water levels and seasonal floodings of portions of the trails. The beaver deceiver maintains appropriate pond levels while reducing impacts to trail users and preserving the habitat. At times, visitors may notice odors in the vicinity of the standpipe. The device draws water from the bottom of the pond where low oxygen and aerobic conditions exist. These conditions allow naturally occurring bacteria to produce gases that can emit a sulfur-like or rotten egg smell. Over the past few months, the city has received several concerns about these odors, with some members of the public thinking the odor was related to a sanitary sewer spill. City staff have taken each concern seriously and conducted site reviews. Based on the evaluations, the odors have been determined to originate from the pond discharge associated with the beaver deceiver system. To improve public understanding, the city has worked in coordination with the Millicoma Marsh Trail partners and a local artist to develop an educational signage. The signage will provide clear information about the purpose and function of the beaver deceiver, explain the source of occasional odors, and address common questions. This effort is intended to enhance transparency, promote environmental education, and support effective communication with the community. The City of Coos Bay Water Quality Division will fund the production and the placement of the sign. So we do have attached kind of what a beaver deceiver is and the location of where it's at. So the first exhibit that you'll see is a overhead view of the area in which the beaver deceiver is placed and the location of where the interpretive sign will go. Jamie?
I would just also like to shout out that when I first learned about these from our local BLM biologists, how to deal with beaver, we had a system in there that would get clogged, a weir system, and the beaver would just stuff it with stuff. And that was a problem because it would blow out a dike that had the sludge lagoon pipe in. So we got this done. And the actual name of the item, and I should give a shout out to Clemson University, is called the Clemson Pond Leveler Device, but it's also in parlance between biologists, they call it a beaver deceiver. Anyway, the other thing is, and it's been working for a couple decades at least, just fine. And so, and I'm happy that I could help out with this. It came at a right time because the artist had just pretty much did the same sign with a lower height system over on the Swallow Loop Trail, which is back near the athletic field. And so this, all he had to do was change a little bit, added some of the text that talks about the smell and why that happens to this one. So it was sort of on the shelf to ready to go. And I'm curious, this is on city property that the thing is on, and this is the Parks Commission giving. Is this being adopted into the park system? Just asking.
I think that sign will be placed on city property.
Right. So is this section which is on city property, is that going to be in the park system?
No.
Just pulling your chain. We have a memorandum of understanding between the school district and the city, so yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm glad I didn't have to say the Clemson, what did you call it?
Clemson Pond Leveler.
Yeah, the beaver deceiver sounds a
CPL.
lot better.
Beaver deceiver's more fun.
Better.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah, it's
better.
more fun.
I thought I was being misled there for a moment, but I was not. So no action is being requested at this time. This is just informational purposes. Again, staff has been out there several times due to that odor complaint. So we really want to just assure the public that this is not a sanitary sewer spill. It's not derived from our wastewater system. This is coming from the decomposition of materials at the bottom of the lake, the pond that's
The
got a bit
sign,
of a funk to it.
the sign is great.
Yeah.
Just to say, it's a really cool sign. So whoever did it should be really congratulated because
Yeah.
it fits it perfect.
His name is Ron Papish. He lives in Newport.
As soon as I saw it, I'm like, this is Ron Papish's handwork, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
I think that it's great that people were complaining about the smell because that means that new users that probably aren't used to it are now frequently the walkway and participating in outdoor activities. So I take that as a win. My only question is, does it continuously play Leonard Skinner on repeat from the sign? Or do you smell the smell?
Don't know. missed that reference, sorry.
I think you got an additional cost, maybe just to an individual.
That's the QR. It's a QR code.
No.
No. I was gonna say, I think this sign is charming. I've been smiling about it all afternoon. Just saying beaver deceiver is hilarious. I was also tickled to see the incorporation of Hannes and Milik in the top right corner. That's really encouraging and great to see. Imagine there's going to be some revisions, because I'm looking at there's like the word pond is written in like every sentence. But otherwise, I think this is great, and I learned a lot, and I think it's playful and educational, and like I said, I'm glad to see some first languages on there.
And there are other signs and tiles around the post that we had painted by the school kids at Millicoma that have Hannes and Milik pronunciations of other
Fantastic.
things.
I'll have to check that out.
Please, yeah, and they're subtle signs. They're wrapped on the posts, so they're tiles.
Okay, cool.
They're not these billboard-like signs. So
Yeah, I was going to run it past some linguists, but yeah, I think this is great. I learned a lot.
Thank you. Any other additional comments from commissioners?
Other than I'm checking in.
Yeah. So we've got Harv and Carmen online, so the notes will indicate that.
Yeah, but
All right.
have corn.
Thank you so much. We are moving on down to action item 3B, OBAB update.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Katie Loy with Oregon Bay Area Beautification, or OBAB. And I just wanted to say that we're going into our 5th year of Second Saturday cleanups, and it's our 4th year as a nonprofit. So we started out with a bang at Millicoma Marsh. We ended up with 62 volunteers. And with that, we were able to spread 5 cubic yards of mulch on the trails where it gets really soggy. And we were able to carry 15 wheelbarrows of gravel to fill in the potholes. And then there wasn't really much trash, just a little debris here and there. And so that was a great start. We got about 2 cubic yards or so of ivy pulled and whatnot. So that was a good start. This month in February, our cleanup was on Valentine's Day, and it was a rainy day, plus there's the Charleston crab feed that was going on that day, so I was figuring maybe about 30 people would show up. We had 42 people show up.
Wow.
And we had 30 trees, half western red cedar, half Sitka spruce. They all got planted, and they also got planted by young kids and young people. And we had the North Bend Marines, young North Bend Marines come out to help do that. So that was a big success to do that. And with that, we got about 4 cubic yards of trash pulled and approximately 4 cubic yards of ivy and Scotch broom pulled out of the park. So starting off, that's 104 volunteers with 260 hours worked, 4 cubic yards of trash total, about 6 cubic yards of invasives, 5 cubic yards of mulch spread, 15 wheelbarrows of gravel to fill the potholes, and 30 trees planted just in those 2 months. And that's it, but I do have a question about something. Okay. It's about Toppets over there by the bridge. I've heard about the beaver deceiver type of thing, and I think there is a beaver dam in that area. So is that something maybe that could be applied there, as if there really is a beaver? But now there's a big tree that's like making a bigger dam.
We can definitely take a look into that. We did have a blockage on the, I'm not sure which bridge, the bridge up by the upper lake.
Yeah, between marker 2 and 29.
Yeah, I think that's the same bridge in which you're referencing. And so we did have a blockage up there, and we suspect that it may be a beaver. We haven't seen a beaver,
Yeah.
But we suspect that it may be, and so we can definitely look into that. Because we don't want to have flooding.
Yeah.
Because it was up over the trails and up over, almost over to the bridge.
Yeah.
And so rendering that useless.
Yeah, because I walk that trail frequently, and
Yeah.
it was a bigger puddle last time.
Yep.
But that's it. I just had to make a comment on that.
Thank you.
Any commissioner questions or comments?
Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's awesome. In 5 years, that's amazing.
Yeah,
You were one of two wielding the wheelbarrow with
Yes.
gravel.
yeah.
Thank you.
It was hard work, but it was very fulfilling because we knew how much people would appreciate filling in the potholes. So
First
we
thing
felt
they
that
see
we
at
had
the
the
trailhead.
best important job. So
Yeah.
you're wel- yeah.
Thank you, Katie, for all your
Thank you.
your work and OVAB's work out of John Toppitz. I really do appreciate it. At all of our open spaces, you guys do an amazing job, and we really do. We couldn't be as far along
Yeah.
as we are without your support. So thank
It gets better and better every time. And we'll be back there next month too.
Awesome.
you. Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Always.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
one of
you
my
so
favorites,
much.
honestly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the turnout's great, and everybody just has a good time, and you can physically see the impact, so it's really great. Thank
yeah.
you so much.
And I hope it gets the community involved to love it more too, as I did. So
Yeah. So,
all right, thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, Katie.
Action item 3C, we're tabling, correct?
Correct.
All right, so we have tabled action item 3C for further discussion in the future, potentially. Action item 3D, Coos Forest Patrol and AYA collaboration.
Yeah, so we have an opportunity, again, to work with Coos Forest Patrol. We've worked with them before in the past, but this year, the city of Coos Bay has an opportunity to collaborate with the Coos Forest Patrol to perform trail maintenance within John Toppitz Park. This effort will also remove hazard trees to have a high risk of falling unexpectedly could harm park users and block trails. The Coos Forest Patrol has partnered with AYA this year to create a 6-week training program that will teach AYA members foresting skills that may lead to positions within Coos Forest Patrol. The 6-week program will include 2 days of a week in classroom training, and then the other 3 days will be hands-on training in the park. The AYA workers will be taught and supervised by Coos Forest Patrol foresters with direction from city staff. So with this project, there's no cost to the city for this program. The program is fully funded by the AYA. And at this point, we're asking that the commission, if it pleases the commission, approve the recommendation by staff to collaborate with the Coos Forest Patrol to perform trail maintenance and remove dangerous and dead trees from John Toppitz Park.
Thank you. Commissioner, questions, or we're just going to roll right into a motion?
I move that we do so.
All right.
I'll second, but I wanted to have a comment as well.
Okay. So we have a first and second, open for discussion.
The only thing I was going to ask, Greg, is that what's the city staff involvement going to be as far as determining what trees they're going to remove? And I only ask that because when we did the fire protection around the edge of the park, there was some concern by some folks that, you know, too much was removed. And so if they're just removing trees that may come into a parking lot or come in onto a trail, then I think we're probably okay. I'm assuming that's their intent. They're not going to go into the rest of the park. Because I will also tell you that when we were looking for putting the library there are people that consider it a natural wild area, not a park like you would think of a park. And so I just want to make sure we're not going to be going in there chopping down a bunch of trees throughout the place, but rather ones that may impinge upon the trails in the parking lot.
Sure, I think that's a very fair commentary, or very fair comment. So the intent is to remove dead trees that may be leaning or maybe have already fallen but maybe not have actually hit the ground, or trees that may be laden with ivy that are extra heavy now or a threat. So that's the intent of this project. So staff will be working with them to identify what trees around the trail system, not off into the brush. Typically, if a tree falls in the woods at John Toppitz Park around the trails, we'll trim it around where it needs to go and then just leave it off to the side to preserve that natural feel of the park. But we don't want to create a park that doesn't feel like a rural park within the city. That's one of the things, the big attractors to John Toppitz, is that it is a rural park inside the suburban area. So our intent is to go in, remove just dangerous or hazard trees, trees that have already fallen, trees that are heavy with ivy, trees that are leaning in a precarious way that, you know, if the wind hits it in the right direction, it'll knock it over unexpectedly. So we want to remove those trees. This is only going to go on for 6 weeks. So, and then with the training, I'm not sure how many trees we'll actually get to. But the intent is to just remove those trees that we identify, not trees that are just arbitrarily removed. And so that's our goal, is to make the trails safer for the users when they're in that park.
Okay. Thank you.
Any additional commissioner questions or comments? No? Okay. So we'll call for a vote. All those in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 3E, Parks and Grant Updates.
All right, so parks and grants update. So just going to jump into the bold lettering here, the John Toppitz Park wildfire mitigation. So the project is approximately 2/3 complete. We're just waiting for the contractor to get back in town. He's got some other projects he was working on, but his intention is to get back in and start the project back up at the end of this month, early March. We have worked with the fire chief to create kind of a map of this buffer area is 30 feet, this buffer area is 50 feet, this buffer area, whatever that determination is by the fire chief. And so we're going to follow that plan on that particular project. Moving down, the Mingus Park restrooms and rewilding project. So I'm not sure if you've noticed, but the restroom at the Mingus Park is basically complete. We have just a few button-up items or punch list items that we got to knock out. We paved some new trails into and around that area. We put up some new site lighting, so we added 3 more lights to the area, and so we were very happy to get that done. We estimate that the restrooms will be open the first week of March, by the end of the first week of March. Plus or minus, you know, with weather delays, we had this system come through. Staff did work through all day Tuesday, getting a few things that needed to get done, but we still have a few other items that we need to knock out. But it looks fantastic. Mm-hmm. The contractor did a really good job. Staff has done a phenomenal job there in the park. Just real quick question, Jared, I'll put you on the spot. The interpretive sign,
It's looking good.
are we just about?
Alexa sent me a draft this morning. It looks like they're waiting on one more thing for a design, but we're good on my end of things.
Perfect.
It looks really, really nice. I'm very impressed with the work that was done on that sign. And I said last time, all the recommendations from the commissioners was incorporated. So yeah, it looks great. I'm excited for it.
So we're hoping to get that installed in March for the rewilding project. The TGM, the Comprehensive Bike and Pedestrian Plan grant, ODOT is still working through their process. Again, we're hoping to award contracts, or ODOT is hoping to award contracts in the summer of 2026. Front Street project, the City of Coos Bay staff is working still with David Evans and Associates to move the project forward. Staff is presented in early this year to council about the removal of 14 parking stalls, but council asked that it come back at a later date, and so that'll come back to council at some point in time in the future, so for further discussion. Moving down, operations and maintenance. We've done a lot of work inside of Mingus Park. We installed new engineer fall protection in and around the playground areas. We installed the drains in the playground area, so hopefully all that water that stands and gathers in those behind those concrete barriers will no longer be there. So with the heavy rains that we saw this last couple of days, we didn't see any ponding. So yeah, feeling pretty confident about that. We also added new engineered fall protection at Pirates Park down there, so good on the staff for that. And then we're still doing a lot of mowing and maintenance in the parks. plus the removal of unhoused camps and cleanup. And the last item here is we do have a new park host out at the Empire Boat Ramp. We did add one not too long ago, but he had to resign his position for some personal reasons. So we hired Kelly Gasongwe. I think I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, I hope she's not watching. But we hired Kelly, and she's doing a great job. I've talked with staff and the police department. They go out there quite a bit, and they said that she's doing a great job for us. So, yeah, that's what we're up to. Some of the things that we're up to, just in the parks-related stuff.
Great.
Any questions?
I was just going to ask Jennifer, I know we didn't get it on the agenda for this one because we need to take what we found out this last Tuesday to the Parks Commission before it goes on. Is that right?
I think you can either suggest that it go on the work session for March, or you can you're not asking for any decisions, you can present just a brief summary during your commissioner comments, your closing comments.
Okay. So it can go to the council work session.
Well, it's not going to go to the council work session, but we'd like to get it to a March meeting sooner rather than later, but we understand there's a process, okay. So we're willing to work with you.
All right.
Okay. Thanks.
So, are you going to fill us in?
If I can head fact-finding committee met with Jennifer on Tuesday at Front Street Community Bike Works, and we looked over the latest plans and concerns from David Evans and Associates about how the council wasn't getting enough information about what the concerns are from the businesses south of the 30% plan. And we couldn't answer the question because we don't have any. So when we met on Tuesday, we walked it and looked at what was the issues, which is a lot of ingress into the east side of the street to those businesses, and it makes no sense to put a bike path south of Cedar along that east side. So we determined that it would be good to perhaps move it all on the west side from Cedar down, have a crossing at Cedar to what is already planned to be a 12-foot bike and ped path all the way to connect to the pathways near the museum. And so that was determined, and we will look into how to design that crossing properly to go across tracks. And that will save bicyclists from going across to encountering the tracks anything but perpendicular at one point, which is safer. And also, people would not be impeding anybody along that narrow spot on the east side in front of those businesses like Coos and Knudsen and Sauce. So it makes more sense. So we're asking the council to consider doing a 30% plan on the southern reach as well, so that we have it. We can answer those questions of how many parking spaces we will have. Did I do all right?
Great.
Okay. Make sense?
Makes sense. Thank you. Do you have any other comments or Commissioner closing comments that you would like to add?
Sure. Goes back to OBAB. Where'd she go? At Milcoma, and a week before that, I noticed some hazard trees. There's a space on the northwest corner of the Bay Loop Trail, which is partially on school district land, that has hazard trees because there's a lot of ivy in there, a lot of willow and alder that are prone to falling over, and they have fallen over multiple times in that region. And so I tagged some that I felt were hazard from my experience working with BLM, biologists, etc., and called up my friend at the Coos Forest Protective Association and said, could you, and I didn't expect them to get down there before OBAB, but they got down there the next day that I called them and took out the trees. And I said, don't tidy up. We have OBAB, and there was a good crew that from OBAB's volunteers that took care of tidying up the area. So if you pass by there, you'll see what happened. Okay. So shout out to Coos Protective Association. And is forest really spelled with 2 F's?
It could be today. Absolutely, yeah. It is today.
All right, thank you. Any other commissioner closing comments? Carmen, Harv?
I
don't have any. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Harv.
Thanks, Carmen.
I don't have anything either. Just apologize for being late. It's been a day of Zooms. This is the 4th one for me today. No, I did not have any additional items to add. Other than Carmen and I weren't there, and you guys got through in record time. I don't know if we're the problem.
Yeah, it might be true.
Yeah, not pointing fingers. Thank you. Jared?
Yeah, just going to give tons of kudos to Greg and your team for the Mingus Park work that you're doing. That's really encouraging. Every time I drive by it, it's always fun to see what new endeavors are getting completed. So just all the thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just say I drive down 10th Street all the time. I was amazed at how fast and quickly that restroom went up. I mean, it was cool. And I tell everybody that I know there's going to be new restrooms in Mingus Park and the ballpark, and everybody's excited about that. So it really looks nice, and you guys have done a wonderful job. And I will tell you that I walk with friends down by the Millicoma Park, I won't call it the park, the Millicoma Trail, and that between the parking lot getting better over the years and the trails getting better over the years, it's really turned into a really nice place. And I'm always amazed at the number of birders that are down there. So you guys are doing a great job, and I appreciate that as well.
Thank you so much. Closing comment?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for the compliments. I'm going to pass those compliments right past me and right to my staff. Lance, the transportation facilities superintendent, really bulldogged that entire project. He did a great job. The entire staff, like I said, was down there working on that project, along with the contractor. And so it was a team effort. But that project is just about wrapped up, and we're excited about what we can do in John Toppet's Park. And so we've got a lot of work to do over there, but it's amazing what we can do with the resources that we can garner with grants, with the support of the commission, with the support of the leadership here at the city. We can get a lot of stuff done once we're released to go do it, which has been really refreshing, and I think that it's really reflected over the course of the last year. I know my staff takes a lot of pride in what's going on in the parks, and so I'm going to pass that right through me, right into them. They've done a great job. Again, couldn't have done it without the support of the commission. Thank you guys. I do appreciate the efforts that we take as a body to come together every month, sometimes twice a month, to discuss what's going on within our parks. So thank you for that. Just a couple of quick things coming up. We've talked before in the past about we're at budget season. So at this next work session, I propose that we, staff would like to present to the commission our proposed budget. Doesn't mean that it's going to get accepted, but that's our proposed budget. We'd like to bring that to you folks to get that in your hands, let you guys take a look at it. And it sounds like maybe perhaps another topic could be added to that discussion. I don't think it'll take the entire hour to go over the budget, but maybe talking about what the BPFFC discussed a little bit with Jennifer and the Front Street project. Maybe that can also be a topic of those two topics at the work session. And then if there's anything that you guys would like us to talk about at the next Parks Commission meeting, please feel free to just let me know. We can always like to bring stuff in front of you guys because you guys are great about providing positive feedback and good feedback. pointed feedback that we need to be able to be successful in what we do. So thank you for all of your efforts. And Harv, I think I've extended this meeting a couple minutes, so it's definitely not your fault.
I think a couple topics that need to come back is the Adopt a Park, where we're at with that, how that's getting spearheaded, and where we're at in that process. Coco did so much work to get that up and going, and we want to make sure that keeps moving full steam ahead. And then also, speaking about budget and limited resources and things that we're doing, is just to continue to reiterate our topics of funding options and funding sources.
Absolutely. I'll reach out to the Adopt the Park program folks. So Jamie, I'll be giving you a call, and Carmen, and I think Patrick is on that as well. And so maybe reach out and maybe try to get some updates from them about their efforts and what they've been working on. And then also the alternate funding sources and what that looks like and how it's coming along.
Yes, perfect.
Oh, you've been bequeathed. Nice.
All right. Any closing comments? All right. I want to thank everyone for joining us again today. We are pushing forward, looking forward to our budget presentation next week. You know me, I always want to add an extra zero, or next meeting. Keep you on your toes.
I was stressing out there for a second.
You know, if we could sneak an extra zero at the end, we always enjoy doing that as well. But I appreciate everybody's time. A little disappointed the Beaver Deceiver doesn't involve a costume. I thought perhaps maybe there was a costume involved in that as well. But I do appreciate all the efforts that everyone does. Our parks are looking great, and our constituents appreciate that. So thank you very much. Have a great night. We're adjourned.
Thank you.